quick review of BD Advanced. So if you're looking for business financing, you have a lot of choices, and BD Advanced is actually one pretty good one to actually consider if you want a certain amount of cash and you are also you are in a specific list of industries. I'll talk about the industries later on, okay? So, one thing for sure, BD Advance has been around not that long. So, this could be a little detriment because when it comes to business financing, you want experience too, right? You just don't want to, you just don't, do not want a company that pops up and then later on, 6 months later on, or 1 year later on, you can't really count on them anymore for business financing. The reason why longevity is important is because it really has a direct impact on two things: your ability to qualify, right? Your ability to qualify regardless of the credit score you have, bad credit, poor credit, or something in between. That's number one. And number two, your ability to get a longer term, a longer repayment window. Because if you have a company that just is kind of new and they haven't been around like for that long, you can't really hope to get a 5 year repayment window or 10 year repayment window, even though the average payment term when it comes to business financing is around 36 months all the way to 60 months. So three to 5 years. Okay, so something to really keep in mind. So basically, if you think about BD Advance, you have to think about a company primarily in the MCA, merchant cash advance sector. So they offer financial support to numerous entrepreneurs across the U.S. And so when you think about MCA, merchant cash advance, I want you to think about revenue-based financing. Okay, and the cool thing is this financing option is can be used in many sectors. You have restaurants, trucking companies, medical practices, construction firms, consulting agencies, healthcare providers, childcare centers, and so on and so forth. So you do have a lot of flexibility, okay? And so basically, an MCA is a flexible and accessible funding option for your business if you're looking to meet your financial needs and support growth initiatives. Let's say there's a little delay between when you get money from your accounts receivable and when you actually pay your accounts payable, right? So that timeline, that little I wouldn't call it discrepancy, but that little lag, if you have a merchant cash advance to kind of help you out, you can plug the liquidity holes actually through that process. Okay, so BD Advance actually came on the scene when it comes to business financing in 2018. So if you think about BD Advance, how does the whole platform work? If you're interested this year, let's say you're interested now in getting financing from them, how do you go about kicking off the whole process? Let's talk about that. So basically, you are able to get quick funding for working capital. But again, remember, this is a merchant cash advance provider. Okay, so the funding process is very simple and fast. Nothing really complicated. Some lenders actually will make things hard for you when it comes to business financing. BD Advance is actually, I'll speak about the eligibility criteria later on. But one thing I want to say here is that BD Advance actually places an emphasis on simplicity. If you want to get business financing, they're not going to ask you to provide 1,000 1,000 documents. Okay, no, pretty simple because this is a revenue-based financing program. In other words, basically, you got to have sales because the whole funding program is based on future sales. So if you think about a merchant cash advance provider, that provider is looking primarily at your future sales. Of course, they have to look at your past sales to sort of see if there is some kind of historical patterns, but they focus more on future sales. Okay, so the the features I want you to really be aware of. The advanced amounts go from $2,000 all the way to $250,000, so quarter of a million. The factor rate is actually undisclosed. You have to contact BD Advance for more info on that one. Basically, the terms also are undisclosed. but it usually goes from 2 months all the way to 24 months. Okay. And the funding speed actually goes from 1 to 2 days. The cool thing I love about what I love about Merchant Cash Advance is that the funding program is relatively fast. Okay. Once you actually validate, quote unquote, validates your sales, let's say future sales, you can move on to the funding part of the journey very fast. So, what are the qualifications for a BD Advance? Again, if you are interested in getting getting funding from this lender this year, you have to understand that things are relatively simple. Okay, because again, this is a revenue-based financing program, so your FICO score doesn't really matter that much. Okay, as it would if you were to say if you were to get a business line of credit or a traditional unsecured business loan. So this is kind of cool. And so you don't need a good business credit for approval. You don't need good personal credit for approval. Okay. So one thing I want to say here is that business credit, if you do have it, that's kind of cool because this can give you a more benefits in terms of getting a better rate, a better factor rate, for instance, or I will say advantageous benefits, advantageous let's say terms and conditions. So the qualifications for a BD Advance, you have personal credit score. If you have 500, they'll consider you. So BD Advance will consider you if you have 500. The minimum time in business, 6 months, and the minimum monthly revenue, $5,000. So $5,000 minimum. Okay. Remember that for a merchant cash advance, everything is based primarily on future sales. It's important. So if you think about an MCA, think about a transaction where a funder, in this case, BD Advance, buys your business's future receivables at a discounted rate in exchange for immediate cash. The funding amount is usually based on the business's sales history and projected sales, with higher sales volumes often resulting in more significant cash advances, right? Everything is based on your ability to generate funds in the future based on your future sales. So this type of funding can provide your business with quick access to capital based on your expected revenue. Your expected revenue. So this is pretty straightforward. So one thing I want to say here is that when it comes to BD Advance, how do you actually apply? So one thing I want to say here is that you have actually a pretty straightforward process. You can apply, for instance, through an affiliate, or you can go to the company's websites itself. Okay, and once you actually you fill in the info, like first name, last name, the business's name, like they'll ask you address, phone number, all that kind of stuff, the zip code, all that kind of stuff. They might ask you to provide your social or EIN, employer identification number, also. So again, those are this is for a preliminary process. Once you do all that, you have to connect to your business bank account. So simply telling BD Advance that you'll be making or you are making so and so in terms of future sales, that's kind of cool. But they still want to look at your liquidity. They want to look at your inflows and outflows for the last 3 months or 6 months, for instance. So they want you to connect your business bank account, and and this happens through BD Advance's online customer portal. So they have a portal dedicated for that, dedicated to dedicated to that kind of transactions. Okay, so you need to connect your business bank account once you establish your online account and credentials. And once you have that, that's it. Things from there go pretty fast. Okay, you just need to read through the let's say the fund prints. Okay, and once you're approved, BD Advance sends a funding offer. So and you just accept the offer, and that's it. That's really and that's it. You get funded, and this can happen within 1 to 2 days. By the way, I think I've said this before. Okay, this is kind of cool. And post funding, BD Advanced doesn't publish the repayment frequency, but most cash advances require daily, weekly, or bi-weekly repayments, and repayments are automatically debited from your business bank account according to the terms outlined in the agreement. So that's why you need to connect your account. That's why BD Advanced wants you to be wants you to connect to your account. Okay, and but you don't forget that you have a an online portal to which you have access 24/7. So 24/7, you can see your account information there. So if you think about BD Advanced, what are the advantages and the disadvantages when it comes to this funding program? Okay, let me first talk to you about the advantages. So BD Advanced offers several benefits that helps that those benefits help users such as you and me manage their finances effectively. Okay, so you have quick access to funds. Okay, so if you're looking for a business funding, you don't have to wait 1 year. You don't have to wait 3 months. You don't have to wait 6 months. You don't have to wait 30 days. Okay, you have quick access to funding. So 1 to 2 days maximum, which is really good. If you see, let's say you see an opportunity in your sector, for instance, and you need fresh cash to seize that opportunity, having access to quick funding can be a game changer. So this is really good. And BD Advance also allows you to get fast funding after approval, so that you can really cover unexpected expenses without delays. You also have the flexible repayment options that also available in some states. Okay, so you can choose a plan that fits your budget and financial situation. So this flexibility eases the stress of managing repayment. So remember that I told you that repayments can be weekly, can be daily, can be monthly. Okay, and you also have through BD Advanced, you have an account manager. So this is a dedicated professional that provides you with tailored support and guidance, and you can receive personalized advice to meet your specific needs. That's really good. So those are some of the advantages. What about the disadvantages? Well, you have the fact that you have the high fees, right? But this is not just applicable to BD Advanced only. If you think about MCA providers in general, they charge a lot of fees, okay? And you cannot also, you may not apply directly to BD Advanced in some cases. You may need to apply through an affiliate or a broker. So this can be a little detrimental also, especially if you need things to happen real fast. So if you think about BD Advance, I think I already established in your mind that this is an MCA provider, right? This is one of the top ones. They give you anywhere from 2 grand to $250,000. So what are the pros and cons here? The pros first, you have quick access to funds for supporting your small business. I think I've said this before, and the fact that you have quick access to funds is a biggie because normally regular banks take forever. Regular credit unions take forever, right? So having that access to that cash can be a game changer. Like I said before, if you see a good project, a good opportunity, and you're trying to win that project or opportunity, BD Advance helps you. You have early repayment discounts available. Okay, you have flexible repayment options in most cases, and you also have a personal account manager. So, personal account manager for tailored support. So, every small business we know is different. So, having that access, that personalized access, is really good. It gives you the ability to get things done, and you can get things done in a streamlined manner. On the flip side, when it comes to a BD advance, you have high cost associated with merchant cash advances. Okay, and there is a lack of transparency when it comes to factor rates and terms. So this pricing information needs to be clarified for BD Advance to really show the public that they are operating on a level playing field. And also, you have to apply through an affiliate or broker. This is also a little problematic if you think about it. So if you think about BD Advance, basically, I want to say this is a company, even though the company has not been in operation for long, they started in 2018. This is still a legit company, okay? It is a legitimate business cash advance company that provides funding to small businesses that need quick access to cash, okay? And so this is kind of cool because you are able to get your cash real fast. And when it comes to the reviews, the online reviews, you will love the fact that people in the industry love the speed at which BD Advance funds its transactions. Like for instance, on Trustpilot, they have about 400 reviews. Okay, that they're really good in terms of speed. So that's really good. And many users also praise the straightforward terms and repayment process. They find it very easy to submit their info online. So this is kind of cool. And also, there are some people who said that the staff at BD Advanced is pretty knowledgeable and pretty professional. So that's really cool. On the flip side, some people actually have been saying that the BD Advanced has terms and conditions that can be, let's say, confusing, okay, or even hidden. They might have some hidden fees. They don't explain things up front, okay, and so this is something to really think about. But again, if BD Advance denies you, you have the possibility to apply with other lenders, okay. Maybe you don't have sales or you don't have strong sales. If you don't, then you can't really get a business financing through a merchant cash advance financing program. But you have other programs such as bad credit business loans, business lines of credit, business term loans, equipment financing, invoice factory. This is really important. You have revenue based loans, SBA loans, working capital loans, and so you have a lot of possibilities. Okay, so one thing I want to say here is that basically you have to decide what's great for you, what's your vision, because BD Advance actually has a program in place, but it has to fit. It has to fit your specific program before you even think about applying with this lender. So here's an epilogue into this conversation. I spoke to you about BD Advance. I spoke to you about what the company is, what they do, what are the qualifications, how to apply, what are the pros and cons. So basically, you have to have revenue, and your business funding program is based on your future sales. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.